The stars looked peaceful that morning as Admiral Korth 7 reviewed the daily patrol reports from his command chair aboard the Zephyrian flagship. Sector 47 Delta had been quiet for months, with only the usual merchant traffic moving between the core worlds and the frontier colonies. The Admiral took pride in maintaining perfect order in his assigned territory, just as his species had done for 3 centuries. Lieutenant Commander Vex Prime sat at the long-range sensor station, running routine scans of the outer system boundaries. The Zephyrians were known throughout the galaxy for having the best detection equipment, and Vex Prime was one of their finest operators. He could spot a smuggler's ship trying to sneak past customs from 3 star systems away. When the first unusual reading appeared on his screen, Vex Prime almost dismissed it as sensor noise. A small contact had appeared at the very edge of detection range, moving slowly toward their position. What made it strange was its origin point. The reading suggested it had come from beyond the galactic rim, where no civilized worlds existed. Vex Prime ran a secondary scan and felt his heart skip a beat. The contact was much larger than he had first thought, and its energy signature matched nothing in the Imperial database. The ship was broadcasting no identification codes and made no attempt to hide its presence. It moved through space with the casual confidence of a vessel that belonged there. "Admiral," Vex Prime called out, his voice carefully controlled despite his growing concern. "I have an unidentified contact approaching from Grid 77 Alpha. The vessel appears to be of unknown configuration." Admiral Korth 7 turned his attention to the main display screen. At first glance, the contact looked like any other merchant vessel, a single ship traveling at standard speeds along established space lanes. But as the sensors gathered more data, disturbing details began to emerge. The ship was massive, nearly twice the size of their own flagship. Its hull configuration followed no known Imperial design principles, with strange angular sections that seemed to serve no obvious purpose. Most troubling of all were the energy readings. The vessel carried enough firepower to challenge an entire patrol squadron. "Run a full spectrum analysis," the Admiral ordered. "I want to know everything about that ship, where it came from, what it's carrying, and who's flying it." Meanwhile, several light years away, Captain Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of the UES Liberty, humanity's first deep space exploration vessel. The ship had been traveling for weeks since leaving Earth's solar system, following radio signals that suggested intelligent life in this direction. "Navigation, what's our current position?" Morrison asked, studying the tactical display that showed dozens of unfamiliar stellar objects. Lisa Park, the ship's navigation officer, consulted her instruments. "We're approximately 40,000 light-years from Earth, Captain. Long-range sensors are detecting what appears to be heavy spacecraft traffic in this region." Morrison nodded thoughtfully. The Liberty had been designed for exactly this kind of mission, making first contact with alien civilizations and establishing peaceful relations. The ship carried Earth's most advanced technology, developed during humanity's rapid expansion into space over the past century. Chief Engineer Ryan Cole approached from his station near the ship's reactor controls. "Captain, I'm reading some interesting energy signatures from the local traffic. Their propulsion systems seem less efficient than ours, but they're using some kind of artificial gravity technology we haven't figured out yet." The human crew had been trained for this moment, the possibility of encountering advanced alien civilizations. What they hadn't expected was to find themselves apparently more technologically advanced than the locals in many areas. Back aboard the Zephyrian flagship, the detailed sensor analysis was complete, and the result sent shockwaves through the bridge crew. Admiral Korth 7 stared at the data in disbelief. The unknown vessel's defensive screens were unlike anything in Imperial technology. Its weapon systems appeared to be based on principles that Imperial scientists considered theoretical at best. Most disturbing of all, the ship's fusion reactor burned hotter and cleaner than the Empire's most advanced power plants. "Sir," Vex Prime reported, his voice tight with barely controlled fear, "the vessel is maintaining course directly toward our position. Should I sound general quarters?" Admiral Korth 7 considered his options carefully. Standard Imperial protocol called for challenging any unidentified vessel, but this situation fell far outside normal parameters. The unknown ship could probably destroy his entire patrol fleet without much difficulty. "Open a communication channel," he decided. "Use standard diplomatic frequencies and universal translation protocols." Aboard the Liberty, Communications Officer Amy Rodriguez detected the incoming transmission. "Captain, we're being hailed by one of the local vessels. They're using some kind of universal translator system." Morrison straightened his uniform and moved to the center of the bridge. "Put them through, Amy. Let's make a good first impression." The alien voice that came through the speakers was formal and slightly mechanical, filtered through translation software. "Unknown vessel, you have entered Imperial space without authorization. Identify yourself immediately and state your purpose in this sector." Morrison exchanged glances with his senior officers before responding. "This is Captain Jake Morrison of the United Earth Systems vessel Liberty. We come in peace, seeking contact with other intelligent species. We request navigational assistance and information about local space regulations." The casual mention of Earth created an immediate crisis aboard the Zephyrian flagship. Admiral Korth 7's database contained detailed information about every inhabited system within 1,000 light-years. But no world called Earth appeared anywhere in Imperial records. "Vex Prime, run a search for any system designation matching Earth in our navigation computers," the Admiral ordered. "Already tried, sir. No matches found in any Imperial database. According to our star charts, the direction that ship came from contains nothing but empty space for several thousand light-years." The implications were staggering. Either the humans were lying about their origin, or they represented a completely unknown civilization from beyond the galactic rim. Given their obvious technological superiority, neither possibility was comforting. Dr. Ben Taylor, the Liberty's chief medical officer, joined the bridge crew as they waited for the aliens' response. "Any indication of their biological type, Captain? My medical scanners are having trouble penetrating their ship's hull." "Nothing definitive yet, Doctor, but they seem willing to talk, which is a good sign." The response from the Zephyrian flagship came several minutes later, clearly the result of hasty consultation with higher authorities. "Captain Morrison, you will maintain your current position while we contact Imperial Command. Any deviation from your present course will be considered a hostile act." Morrison frowned at the implied threat. "Amy, are you detecting any other ships in the area?" Rodriguez consulted her instruments and her expression grew concerned. "Captain, I'm reading massive energy signatures converging on our position from multiple directions. It looks like they're calling in reinforcements." Security Chief Carlos Martinez stepped forward from his position near the weapons console. "Sir, recommend we go to yellow alert. Their response suggests they view us as a potential threat." Morrison considered the situation carefully. The Liberty was alone in unfamiliar space, facing what appeared to be the military forces of an interstellar empire. But humanity had not come this far to back down at the first sign of difficulty. "Maintain peaceful posture but raise our defensive screens," he decided. "Ryan, make sure all systems are running at peak efficiency. I have a feeling this is about to get very interesting." As word of the encounter spread through Imperial communication networks, panic began to build among the galaxy's ruling species. For the first time in over a millennium, the Empire faced a completely unknown factor. A mysterious vessel from beyond their borders, carrying technology they didn't understand, crewed by aliens who claimed to come from a world that didn't exist. Admiral Korth 7 paced the bridge of his flagship as emergency transmissions flooded the communication channels. Every few minutes brought new reports of Imperial fleets changing course toward Sector Ra. 47 Delta. The unknown human vessel had somehow triggered the largest military response in decades without firing a single shot. The Admiral's communication officer, a young Zephyrian named Dex 4, looked up from his console with barely concealed worry. "Sir, Imperial Command is requesting hourly updates on the alien vessel's status. They want to know if it has made any aggressive moves or attempted to scan our defensive positions." Korth 7 studied the tactical display where the human ship maintained its position exactly as requested. The vessel showed no signs of preparing for combat, yet its mere presence had sent shockwaves throughout the Empire. "Send them our standard report, Dex 4. The aliens continue to comply with our instructions and show no hostile intent." Aboard the Liberty, Captain Morrison reviewed the data his science team had gathered about their new alien contacts. The Zephyrian ships used technology that seemed both advanced and strangely limited. Their faster-than-light drives were elegant but inefficient compared to human designs, while their weapon systems relied on energy types that human science had abandoned decades ago. Dr. Helen Green, the ship's chief science officer, approached Morrison with a datapad full of sensor readings. Captain, I've been analyzing their ship configurations and energy signatures. These aliens have clearly been spacefaring for a long time, but their technology seems to have stopped advancing in certain areas. Morrison examined the data with interest. What do you mean, Helen? Look at their reactor designs, Green explained, pointing to the energy readings on her screen. They're using fusion technology that we abandoned 50 years ago. It works, but it's incredibly wasteful compared to our current systems. It's like they developed working space travel and then just stopped innovating. The observation troubled Morrison more than he wanted to admit. If these aliens represented a galaxy-spanning empire, why had their technology stagnated? More importantly, what did that mean for humanity's chances of peaceful contact? Meanwhile, in the imperial capital system of Zentaurus Prime, Emperor Zahn Prime convened an emergency session of his military council. The vast chamber filled with holographic projections of fleet commanders and planetary governors from across the empire, all demanding immediate action against the unknown threat. Admiral Thex 9 of the Draconian fleet spoke first. Her reptilian features twisted with anger. Your Majesty, we should destroy this vessel immediately before it can report our defensive positions to its home fleet. Every moment we delay gives our enemies more time to prepare an invasion. Governor Sec Prime of the Aquilian Defense Corps disagreed strongly. Admiral Thex 9, you assume these humans are hostile without any evidence? Their ship has made no aggressive moves and their communications have been entirely diplomatic. Attacking without provocation could start a war with an unknown civilization. The debate raged for hours as military leaders argued for immediate attack, while civilian governors urged caution. Emperor Zahn Prime listened carefully to all viewpoints, but his advisors could see the worry in his ancient eyes. After ruling the empire for 2 centuries, he had never faced a situation quite like this one. Back in Sector 47 Delta, Captain Morrison decided to take a more active approach to the diplomatic situation. He called his senior staff to the main conference room to discuss their options for improving relations with their alien hosts. Commander Steve Parker, Morrison's executive officer, spread out the tactical reports on the conference table. Captain, our passive sensors show at least 30 Imperial vessels converging on this position. They're not taking any chances with us, and can you blame them? Morrison replied. We show up unannounced from a direction they think is empty space, carrying technology they don't recognize, claiming to represent a civilization they've never heard of. I'd be nervous too. Chief Medical Officer Dr. Ben Taylor leaned forward in his chair. The question is, how do we convince them we're not a threat, without appearing weak or giving away too much? Information about our capabilities. Security. Chief Carlos Martinez had been studying the alien ship, configurations on his datapad. Sir, from a tactical standpoint, their formation suggests they're more worried about us escaping than about us attacking. They're positioning their ships to block possible retreat routes rather than to maximize firepower. The observation gave Morrison an idea. Amy, open a channel to the lead alien vessel. Let me talk to their commander directly. Communications Officer Amy Rodriguez established the connection within moments. Channel open, Captain. Admiral Korth 7, Morrison began, using the alien's name from their previous communications. I understand your concern about our presence in your territory. To demonstrate our peaceful intentions, I would like to propose a formal meeting between our representatives. The response came quickly, suggesting the Zephyrian commander had been hoping for exactly such an offer. Captain Morrison, Imperial protocol requires that any diplomatic contact be conducted under strict security conditions. Are you willing to board one of our vessels for negotiations? Morrison exchanged glances with his officers before responding. Admiral, I would be honored to meet with you and your diplomatic staff. However, I must insist that the meeting take place on neutral ground, perhaps aboard a shuttle in open space between our vessels. The suggestion created immediate debate aboard the Zephyrian flagship. Meeting in open space would prevent either side from gaining a tactical advantage, but it also meant both commanders would be vulnerable if the negotiations went wrong. Lieutenant Commander Vex Prime voiced the concern that many of the bridge crew shared. Sir, what if this is a trap? The humans could be planning to capture you during the meeting. Admiral Korth 7 considered the possibility but dismissed it. If they wanted to attack us, Vex Prime, they would have done so already. Their ship clearly outguns our entire patrol fleet. Besides, Imperial Command wants answers about these aliens. and I can't get those answers by hiding behind our defensive screens. Dr. Green volunteered to accompany Morrison to the diplomatic meeting, arguing that her scientific expertise might help establish common ground with the aliens. Captain, if we can demonstrate that our technology is meant for exploration rather than conquest, it might help ease their fears about our intentions. The meeting was scheduled for the following day, giving both sides time to prepare. Morrison spent hours reviewing everything they knew about Zephyrian culture and technology, while Admiral Korth 7 consulted with xenobiologists and diplomatic experts via long-range communication. As news of the planned meeting spread throughout the Imperial fleet, speculation ran wild about the mysterious humans and their true intentions. Some officers believed the aliens were advanced scouts for a massive invasion force, while others thought they might be refugees from some distant catastrophe seeking Imperial protection. The truth, as Morrison and his crew knew, was both simpler and more complex than anyone imagined. Humanity had reached for the stars not out of desperation or conquest, but from curiosity about what they might find among the distant suns. Now, as they prepared for their first formal diplomatic contact with an alien civilization, they faced the challenge of explaining their peaceful intentions to an empire that had forgotten what genuine exploration looked like. The stage was set for a meeting that would either open a new chapter in galactic relations or trigger the largest interstellar conflict in Imperial history. The Imperial battle fleet arrived in Sector 47 Delta like a storm of metal and energy. Admiral Thex 9 commanded over 200 vessels representing every major species in the Galactic Empire. Draconian battleships with their distinctive curved hulls formed the main battle line, while sleek Aquilian carriers deployed fighter squadrons in defensive patterns around the fleet's perimeter. Admiral Korth 7 watched the massive fleet take positions around his patrol ships and felt both relief and concern. The reinforcements gave him overwhelming firepower advantage over the single human vessel, but their presence also escalated the situation far beyond his original intentions. The human ship Liberty remained in its designated position, showing no reaction to the Imperial fleet's arrival. Captain Morrison and his crew observed the alien vessels with professional interest, cataloging their designs and capabilities while maintaining their peaceful posture. Chief Science Officer Dr. Helen Green studied the sensor readings from her station on the Liberty's bridge. Captain, I'm detecting at least 12 different ship designs in that fleet. Each one seems to represent a different alien species, but they're all using similar technology bases. Morrison nodded as he reviewed the tactical display. What does that tell us about their civilization, Helen? It suggests a confederation or empire where different species contribute their specialties, but share common technological standards, Green replied. The question is whether that cooperation is voluntary or enforced. Security Chief Carlos Martinez approached Morrison with his analysis of the Imperial fleet's formation. Sir, they're positioned for maximum intimidation rather than tactical advantage. Most of their heavy weapons are pointed our way, but they've left several gaps in their defensive coverage. The observation confirmed Morrison's growing suspicion that these aliens were more concerned with display of power than actual military effectiveness. Their empire might be vast, but it showed signs of complacency that came from facing no real challenges for too long. Admiral Thex 9 transmitted her ultimatum to the human vessel using the full authority of Imperial law. Her message carried the weight of centuries of unchallenged galactic dominance and the implicit threat of overwhelming military force. Alien vessel, you are ordered to surrender immediately and prepare to be boarded for inspection. You have violated Imperial space without authorization and represent a potential threat to galactic security. Compliance is not optional. Captain Morrison listened to the ultimatum and felt his crew's tension rise noticeably. The alien commander's tone left no room for negotiation and suggested that peaceful contact might no longer be possible. Commander Steve Parker stepped closer to Morrison's command chair. Captain, recommend we prepare for emergency jump to hyperspace. We can be gone before they realize we're moving. Morrison considered the option but rejected it quickly. Steve, running away now would confirm their worst fears about our intentions. Besides, we came here to make contact with alien civilizations, not to avoid them at the first sign of difficulty. Dr. Ben Taylor, who had been monitoring the alien communications frequencies, looked up from his station with surprise. Captain, I'm detecting what sounds like panic in some of their internal transmissions. Several commanders are arguing about whether to attack us immediately or wait for further orders. The revelation that the aliens were as nervous as humans gave Morrison an idea. Instead of responding to the ultimatum with defiance or submission, he chose a third option that caught everyone off guard. Admiral Thex 9, Morrison replied over the open communication channel. I understand your concern about our presence here. To demonstrate our peaceful intentions and facilitate better understanding between our peoples, I request permission to meet with you personally to discuss this situation. The suggestion sent shockwaves through the Imperial fleet. No alien commander had ever requested a face-to-face meeting when confronted with overwhelming Imperial force. Most species either surrendered immediately or fought desperately before being destroyed. Admiral Thex 9 consulted quickly with her staff officers before responding. Captain Morrison, Imperial protocol does not provide for diplomatic meetings with unauthorized alien vessels. You will comply with our boarding instructions or face the consequences. Morrison had expected that response, but he had a backup plan. Admiral, I believe there may be some misunderstanding about our status and intentions. We are not invaders or criminals. We are explorers from a distant world, seeking peaceful contact with other intelligent species. The word explorers created unexpected debate among the Imperial commanders. Most species in the galaxy had abandoned exploration centuries ago, focusing instead on maintaining their established territories and trade routes. The concept of exploring unknown space for scientific knowledge seemed almost primitive to their way of thinking. Lieutenant Commander Vex Prime, still monitoring the human vessel from Admiral Korth 7's flagship, detected something that changed everything. Sir, the alien ship is launching a small craft. It appears to be heading directly toward Admiral Thex 9's battleship. The launch of the shuttle created immediate crisis aboard the Imperial fleet. Some commanders interpreted it as an attack run and prepared to open fire, while others recognized it as a possible diplomatic gesture. Captain Morrison piloted the shuttle himself, accompanied only by Dr. Taylor as his diplomatic advisor. The small craft approached the Imperial fleet with no weapons or defensive screens active, broadcasting continuous messages of peaceful intent. Admiral Thex 9 watched the approaching shuttle with a mixture of confusion and anger. The human captain's bold move put her in an impossible position. Attacking an obviously unarmed diplomatic craft would violate Imperial law, but allowing it to approach might be seen as weakness by her subordinates. The shuttle's casual flight through the Imperial fleet's defensive formations demonstrated capabilities that shouldn't have existed. The small craft avoided sensor locks effortlessly and maneuvered with precision that suggested advanced automation or incredible pilot skill. Dr. Taylor monitored the alien communications during their approach and provided Morrison with real-time updates. Jake, they're definitely arguing about what to do with us. Some want to shoot us down, but others are curious about our technology. Morrison guided the shuttle to a docking port on the Imperial flagship's hull. Well, Ben, I guess we're about to find out which faction wins the argument. The docking process revealed more surprises for both sides. The human shuttle's docking systems proved compatible with Imperial standards despite being developed independently, suggesting that some engineering solutions were universal. Admiral Thex 9 met the human delegates in the flagship's main conference room, flanked by her senior officers and a full security detail. The first face-to-face meeting between humans and the Galactic Empire produced mutual shock that neither side had anticipated. Morrison and Taylor appeared completely human in biology, but their casual discussion of advanced technology revealed capabilities that Imperial science considered impossible. When Taylor mentioned their faster-than-light communication systems, the alien scientists present exchanged worried glances. The humans, for their part, discovered that the supposedly advanced Galactic Empire relied on technology that was centuries behind human standards in many critical areas. Their weapons were powerful but crude, their ships were large but inefficient, and their computers processed information at speeds that human systems had surpassed decades earlier. Admiral Thex 9 realized with growing alarm that the single human vessel represented not just an isolated threat but evidence of an entire civilization that had somehow achieved technological superiority over the Empire. The implications terrified her. If humans could build ships like the Liberty, what prevented them from building entire fleets of such? vessels and challenging Imperial authority. Throughout the galaxy, the meeting that was supposed to resolve the crisis had instead revealed a truth that neither side was prepared to handle. Emperor Zon Prime received Admiral Thex-9's emergency report in the privacy of his throne chamber. The massive hall had witnessed the rise and fall of civilizations over the centuries, but never had it contained news quite as disturbing as what the Admiral now transmitted from Sector 47 Delta. The Emperor's chief advisor, an ancient being known as Chancellor Mech 7, studied the data with growing alarm. Your Majesty, if these reports are accurate, the humans possess technology that surpasses our own in almost every critical area. Their single vessel could potentially challenge an entire Imperial fleet. Zon Prime rose from his throne and walked to the great viewing window that showed the capital planet spread out below. Millions of beings from hundreds of species lived and worked in the cities below, all trusting in the Empire's strength to protect them from external threats. Now that strength had been revealed as an illusion. Chancellor, how long has it been since the Empire faced a genuine technological challenge? The Emperor asked. Not since the hegemony wars over 8 centuries ago, Your Majesty. Since then, our military superiority has been absolute and unquestioned. The realization struck both leaders simultaneously. The Empire's long period of unchallenged dominance had led to technological stagnation. Without external pressure to innovate, Imperial science had focused on maintaining existing systems rather than developing new ones. Meanwhile, aboard the Liberty, Captain Morrison and Dr. Taylor returned from their diplomatic meeting with disturbing news. The conference room filled quickly as senior officers gathered to hear their report about the alien civilization they had encountered. Morrison activated the main display screen and showed images of the Imperial flagship's interior. The good news is that these aliens are not inherently hostile. The bad news is that we've apparently stumbled into a situation much more complex than we anticipated. Dr. Taylor pulled up his medical scans of the alien species they had encountered. The Galactic Empire consists of dozens of different species, all united under a single government that has existed for over 1,000 years. They've achieved interstellar civilization on a scale we never imagined possible. Chief Engineer Ryan Cole studied the technical data they had gathered about Imperial technology. Captain, their engineering is solid but extremely conservative. It's like they developed working solutions centuries ago and then stopped trying to improve them. The observation troubled Morrison because it suggested a fundamental difference in how humans and aliens approach technological development. Human science thrived on constant innovation and competition, while Imperial science seemed focused on maintaining stability and control. Commander Steve Parker raised the question that everyone was thinking, but no one wanted to voice. Captain, what happens when they realize that Earth has only sent one ship? If they think we're a scouting force for a larger fleet, they might be more willing to negotiate. But if they discover we're alone out here, Morrison understood the implication clearly. The Empire's fear of human technology was currently balanced by uncertainty about human intentions and capabilities. If they learned that Earth had no military fleet waiting in nearby space, that balance might shift dramatically. Dr. Helen Green had been analyzing the political structure of the Galactic Empire based on the communications they had intercepted. Captain, I think their government is more fragile than it appears. The different species seem to have their own agendas and concerns. Some want to fight us while others are curious about our technology. The insight gave Morrison an idea for how to approach the deteriorating situation. Instead of dealing with the Empire as a single unified enemy, perhaps they could work with the more reasonable factions to prevent unnecessary conflict. Back aboard the Imperial flagship, Admiral Thex-9 faced growing pressure from her subordinates to take decisive action against the human threat. The ship's combat officers argued for immediate attack while the science staff wanted to study human technology before making any hostile moves. Captain. Res 4 of the Draconian Marines spoke for the military faction. Admiral, every moment we delay gives the humans more time to analyze our defenses and call for reinforcements. We should destroy their ship now while we still have the advantage of numbers. But Dr. Nex Prime, the flagship's chief scientist, disagreed strongly. Captain, the humans have demonstrated technology that could revolutionize Imperial science. Their faster-than-light communications alone would be worth decades of research. Attacking them would destroy invaluable knowledge. The debate reflected a deeper conflict within Imperial society between those who saw the humans as a threat to be eliminated and those who recognized them as an opportunity for advancement. Admiral Thex 9 found herself caught between these competing viewpoints with no clear guidance from Imperial command. Emperor Zahn Prime finally reached a decision about how to handle the human crisis. He activated the emergency communication system that connected him directly to every fleet commander and planetary governor in the Empire. Citizens of the Empire, the Emperor began, his voice carrying across thousands of star systems simultaneously. We face a situation that demands wisdom rather than fear. Unknown aliens have entered our space, but they have shown no hostile intent, despite possessing superior technology. The announcement created immediate controversy throughout the Empire. Some species demanded immediate military action to preserve Imperial dignity, while others argued for peaceful contact to gain access to human technology. Captain Morrison received word of the Emperor's speech through intercepted Imperial communications. The fact that the aliens' leader was publicly acknowledging human technological superiority suggested either remarkable honesty or a sophisticated attempt to gather more information about human capabilities. Amy Rodriguez, monitoring Imperial communication channels, detected signs of internal disagreement within the alien fleet. Captain, I'm hearing arguments between different ship commanders about what to do next. Some want to attack us immediately while others want to establish formal diplomatic contact. The division within Imperial ranks gave Morrison hope that peaceful resolution might still be possible. He decided to take advantage of the uncertainty by making a direct appeal to the alien Emperor himself. Amy, can you establish a communication link directly to the Imperial capital? I want to speak with their Emperor personally. The request surprised Morrison's senior staff, but they recognized the logic behind it. By bypassing the military chain of command, Morrison could present humanity's case directly to the alien leader, who had ultimate authority over Imperial policy. Rodriguez worked for several minutes to establish the connection. Captain, I'm getting a response from the Imperial capital. Emperor Zahn Prime is willing to speak with you directly. Morrison straightened his uniform and moved to the center of the bridge. The next few minutes would determine whether first contact between humanity and the Galactic Empire ended in friendship or war. The communication channel opened to reveal an alien being of obvious age and authority. Emperor Zahn Prime studied Morrison with eyes that had seen centuries of galactic history. Captain Morrison, the Emperor said, his voice translated into perfect English. Your arrival has created quite a stir in our normally peaceful galaxy. Perhaps it is time we spoke directly about your intentions and our concerns. Captain Morrison looked directly into the communication screen as Emperor Zahn Prime's ancient face studied him with obvious curiosity. The alien ruler's eyes held the wisdom of centuries, but Morrison could also detect genuine concern about the unprecedented situation facing his empire. Your Majesty, Morrison began, choosing his words carefully. We come from a world called Earth, located far beyond your current borders. Our people have only recently developed the technology needed for interstellar travel, and this is our first contact with an established galactic civilization. Emperor Zahn Prime leaned forward in his throne, his expression thoughtful. Captain, our scientists tell me your vessel possesses technology that surpasses our own in many areas. This creates obvious concerns about your true intentions in our space. Morrison understood the Emperor's worry completely. From the aliens' perspective, humans represented an unknown factor that could destabilize the careful balance of power that had maintained galactic peace for centuries. Your Majesty, I understand your concerns, but I want to assure you that Earth has no hostile intentions toward your empire or any of its member species. We are explorers and scientists, not conquerors. The direct communication between Morrison and Emperor Zahn Prime was being monitored throughout the Imperial fleet. Admiral Thex 9 watched the exchange with growing frustration as her hopes for a military solution faded. The human captain is clever, she told her staff officers. He's bypassing our authority and appealing directly to Imperial command. If the Emperor decides to negotiate, our hands will be tied. But Dr. Nex Prime saw the situation differently. Admiral, perhaps negotiation is the wisest course. We've learned more about human technology in the past few hours than our scientists have discovered in decades of research. Emperor Zahn Prime considered Morrison's words before responding. Captain, you claim to be explorers, yet your ship carries enough firepower to challenge our finest vessels. How do you explain this contradiction? Morrison had anticipated this question and prepared his answer carefully. Your Majesty, space is dangerous. Our vessel is designed for long-range exploration in unknown regions, where we might encounter hostile forces or natural hazards. The weapons are purely defensive. The explanation made sense to the Emperor, who remembered the early days of Imperial expansion, when exploration ships needed heavy armament to survive in uncharted space. But those days had ended centuries ago when the Empire achieved dominance over all known threats. Chancellor Mech 7 whispered urgently in the Emperor's ear. Your Majesty, if the humans are telling the truth about being explorers, it suggests their entire civilization prioritizes advancement and discovery over stability and control. This could explain their technological superiority. The insight struck Emperor Zahn Prime like a revelation. The Empire had achieved peace and prosperity by eliminating competition and controlling technological development. But this same system had also eliminated the driving forces that pushed civilizations to innovate and grow. Morrison sensed an opportunity to address the Emperor's deeper concerns. Your Majesty, we would be honored to share some of our non-military technology with your scientists. Perhaps we can find ways for our civilizations to benefit from peaceful cooperation. The offer created immediate excitement among Imperial scientists monitoring the communication. Dr. Nex Prime practically vibrated with enthusiasm as she considered the possibilities for advancing Imperial technology through human knowledge, but the military faction remained suspicious of human intentions. Admiral Thex 9 activated a private channel to the Emperor. Your Majesty, this could be a trap. The humans might be trying to infiltrate our technology systems or gather intelligence about our defenses. Emperor Zahn Prime weighed the risks and benefits carefully. Accepting human technology could advance Imperial science by centuries, but it might also create dependencies that could be exploited later. However, rejecting the offer might lead to conflict with a civilization that had already demonstrated superior capabilities. Morrison waited patiently for the Emperor's response while monitoring the growing debate within the Imperial fleet. His communications officer, Amy Rodriguez, reported increasing fragmentation in alien command structures as different factions argued about the best course of action. Dr. Helen Green approached Morrison with new analysis of Imperial society. Captain, I think their empire is more vulnerable than it appears. They've achieved stability by suppressing innovation, but that same stability has left them unable to adapt to genuine challenges. The observation gave Morrison confidence that peaceful resolution was possible. The Empire needed human technology to remain competitive, while humans needed Imperial knowledge about galactic civilizations to avoid future conflicts. Emperor Zahn Prime finally reached his decision. Captain Morrison, I propose a limited exchange of information and technology between our civilizations. We can provide you with navigational data and cultural information about the galaxy, while you share selected technical knowledge with our scientists. Morrison felt relief flood through him as the crisis moved toward peaceful resolution. Your Majesty, we accept your proposal gladly. I believe this arrangement will benefit both our peoples greatly. The agreement created immediate changes in the Imperial fleet's posture. Admiral Thex 9 received direct orders to stand down her weapons and establish formal diplomatic protocols with the human vessel. Some of her officers grumbled about missed opportunities, but most felt relief that the crisis had ended without bloodshed. Dr. Taylor began coordinating with Imperial scientists to establish technical exchange protocols. The alien researchers showed particular interest in human medical technology and energy systems, while the humans wanted to learn about Imperial artificial gravity and faster-than-light communication networks. Over the following days, the Liberty became the center of unprecedented scientific cooperation between humans and dozens of alien species. Each side discovered that their different approaches to technology had created unique solutions to common problems. Chief Engineer Ryan Cole worked closely with Imperial technicians to demonstrate human fusion reactor designs. The aliens were amazed by the efficiency and safety features that human engineers had developed through centuries of competitive innovation. Meanwhile, Imperial scientists shared their knowledge of galactic geography and the locations of other intelligent species. Morrison realized that humanity had stumbled into a galaxy teeming with life and civilization far beyond Earth's wildest. imagination Emperor Zon Prime established a formal embassy program that would allow permanent human representatives on the imperial capital world. In return, Morrison agreed to host imperial observers on future human exploration missions. The Liberty finally departed Sector 47 Delta several weeks later, no longer an unknown threat but a harbinger of change for the entire galaxy. The ship carried Imperial diplomatic staff back to Earth while human scientists remained behind to continue the technology exchange program. Admiral Korth 7, whose routine patrol had started the entire crisis, found his career transformed overnight. The Emperor promoted him to head the new Bureau of External Relations, tasked with preparing the Empire for contact with other unknown civilizations that might exist beyond the galactic rim. As the Liberty jumped to hyperspace for its return journey to Earth, Emperor Zon Prime stood again at his throne room window. The galaxy looked the same as always, but everything had changed. The age of Imperial isolation was ending, replaced by an uncertain but exciting future where humanity's arrival marked the beginning of a new era in galactic civilization. The Empire had panicked when a human warship appeared in their space, but that panic had ultimately led to discoveries that would reshape the galaxy for generations to come.